I'm Rick Lewis with Feed on Hoop Report, and today's guest on Coach's Corner is Che Roth from Cannon School. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Good. First of all, congratulations on winning the state championship this year.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a hell of a season, and a great group of kids, and I mean you were around for a lot of it, and just a exceptional group of young guys.
I was there to give you a big hug afterwards, Coach.
I will take the ending this season with a hug from you any day of the week, man.
Well, Coach, you spent 15 years as assistant coach at the collegiate level. You were at Kennesaw State, University of Missouri, Kansas City, Washburn, and you had a reputation of developing high character, strong academic, quality young men who strive for success on and off the court when you were at the Division I and Division II level. When you got the job at Cannon, this must have been custom made for you.
Well, it may feel that way now, but it probably didn't feel like it the first couple of years. I mean, just like anybody else who gets a job, I mean, you're taking it over probably for a reason.
Right.
Very few times do you inherit a perfect situation where everything's in place, and generally you're inheriting a situation that somebody was either removed or chose to move on for various reasons. And there were some head scratching moments those first couple of years where we were trying to get it off the ground and lay the foundation and build a strong culture. And there were a lot of long drives from Concord to Huntersville, and where you're really talking to yourself. And my wife had to endure a lot of those conversations, and I've been fortunate. I've had a great staff of guys and haven't had a lot of turnover. And my first couple guys with me, Kelvin Drakeford, who is our women's coach now at Cannon and one of my closest friends, and Dom Reed. We had a lot of closed door conversations about what exactly we're doing. And but now on the back end, the juice was definitely worth the squeeze.
Now, you spent 15 years as assistant coach at the collegiate level. What was the biggest challenge going from college to high school?
Probably the way the game is played. In college, the games are longer, but you've got a shot clock and you can build in possessions. And I'm a big pro shot clock guy, as you know. And
right.
I think the big argument a lot of people make is, well, it takes things away, and it's a cost saving things. And how many times are there really 35-second violations? And not everybody's being prepared to play in college. And I sort of get that, but at the same time, like it allows you to play a true game. You can build in a certain number of possessions that at a bare minimum, you're getting the ball every 35 seconds if you just rebound it. To where it builds in the strategy. I think it allows teams to prepare at a different level. It allows coaches to strategize and build in some special situation ATOs into clock situations. It just becomes different. That was challenging to try to have an understanding that, hey, we're not very good, and we're also going to run into teams that we may be a little better than, which in those days was few and far between. But they're going to be games where people are just going to hold the ball. And in a close game, if you're down 6 with 3 to go, basically good luck. You're playing keep away, and so that part was challenging. The other piece that was challenging was you're dealing with younger kids, so having to try to kind of not dumb it down. That's a poor use of the word, because there's smart basketball kids all over, but have an understanding, like you're really starting from square one with some kids, and you're really getting at an impressionable time for young kids, probably boys, because we're a little bit slower in the development than women are, but that's an impressionable age from 14 to 19. And that you're not dealing with grown men. And then also the access is different. In college, both your kids played at at schools, and they chose those schools because that's where they wanted to play. You have access to a practice gym, and your practice is so different
Right.
because you're really on the floor for, we'll just say, an hour 45, 2 hours, and then you've got guys that can get in the course of the day. They can get up their shots. They can lift at various times around their class schedule. Their bodies are built differently. The speed of the game is different. But that was really the biggest component. And then you factor in the parent piece of things, and not in a negative way. It's just because these kids still live under their parents' roof. The communication has to be there.
Right.
If you have a change in practice at the college level, it's a text message, or you've got managers running to make sure guys are understanding where we're going, and it's bada bing, bada boom, it's done. And at our level, there's just so many more moving parts, So those were some big drastic differences that took me a while to get used to, and being at a small setting where everything's housed on one campus, and not having to go through multiple layers to have communication with, have an understanding of where a kid may be academically.
Now, one thing I've noticed about you, Coach, win or lose, throughout the course of your tenure at Cannon, you've always maintained a very positive attitude. But one thing that you always have, you sort of have really branded this really nicely for Cannon, the hashtag earn it. What does
Mm-hmm.
that mean?
To me, it means everything. I'm a direct descendant of farmers. My grandparents were farmers on one side and construction workers on the other. And if you didn't punch in every day, you didn't eat. And my players probably joke and think that I'm nuts, but I think the biggest team there is a husband and wife who run a farm. Because you don't determine I'm doing this or I'm not doing that, or that's not my role. You divide and conquer, and if you don't do it, then there's no food on the table, and you've got no product to sell. And that's an enduring process, and especially where I'm from in Western Kansas, where you get 4 seasons in the course of 4 hours.
Right.
So my grandparents had to endure a lot. And then on the other side, like my grandpa, he was a commercial builder. And he worked exceptionally hard, and if he didn't do his job, then houses didn't get built, or barns didn't get built, or any kind of little strip mall that was popular then, that didn't get built. So they had to earn everything they got, and that's the way my parents raised me, and that's the way we're just kind of running our program. Is it just means everything, and it just means so much more when you invest your heart, your soul, and everything in your being to go after something you love. 2 things: number one, it feels so much better, and it's sure as hell harder to give up, because you're so invested in the process. And that, in a long-winded answer, is really what it's about. It's just about driving your own process, and
Right.
getting out of it what you want out of it, and not giving your keys to the car to anybody else. And everybody's at various stages in our program. For every Jarius Hamilton and Jaden Bradley and DJ Nix and Jarvis Moss, Quan Murphy, there's 15 Michael Elrods and Brandon Meeks, and guys that are just blue collar guys that get to earn their role on our team. And the cool thing about Earn It is there's a place for everybody, because everybody's investing together.
Well, your team definitely earned it this last year. One thing that I can always say about a Che Roth team at Cannon, you never shy away from competition. You're one of the few coaches that you don't really worry about wins and losses, and you will play the most challenging schedule. You like, and you embellish, and you embrace playing the toughest teams.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, to me, like, if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the thing when we came here is, and again, 8 years ago, I'm sure, people thought I was nuts, but we wanted to build a program that competed. First of all, you had to compete in your league, and
Right.
the last game, I think, before we took over, Cannon just got run out of the gym. And that's going to happen. You're going to be on both sides of the coin if you do this long enough, right? And
Right.
we've certainly been on both. But But the bottom line is that we wanted to compete in the league, and we played to, in my opinion, the strongest league there is in the state. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for the programs. I love that we haven't had a lot of turnover in our league, so the coaches have become, friends, and I respect those guys tremendously. But step one was for us to try to get our head above water in the league, and then we wanted to compete at the state. But we want to compete at the national level, and you don't do that by getting Sisters of the Poor on your schedule and feeling good about that. And you get to any kind of tournament at the state level, and you play a strong team, or even a team that is more prepared than you, and they got you between the eyes, and you're just not ready. So we wanted to play the best. We wanted to play in the best events. And I won't lie, practices are more fun. The kids are more dialed in because they know night in, night out they're going to play against other Division I players.
Right.
And our ultimate goal is to be the last team in April in New York.
Well, Coach, this past season, you had a stretch of games that probably did a lot as far as prepare you for the end run that you had. You was at the Gate City event at Greensboro Day, and you had two heartbreaking back-to-back losses. The first night, I believe you lost to Piedmont Classical by 1 point, and on the second night, you also lost to Greensboro Day by 1 point. How did that prepare your team for the course of the season?
I don't know if it prepared us as much as it made us mad. I can still see Cam Hayes, that little sucker, and every time he puts it down left, it's a jump shot. When he puts it down, like he loves to put it down left. And it's ironic that I'm sure we'll talk about RJ Johnson at the end of the year, or the end of this conversation, but yeah, I can still see him right in front of their bench, and we kind of dug ourselves a hole against Greensboro Day. McCorkle kid was phenomenal. I think he only missed 2 shots, and the ball was in a tube, and we didn't make him work real hard for anything. We were kind of scared of contact, and I think we were up at the end of the first. They went on a run. Jaden Bradley gets 3 fouls at the end of the quarter. Going into halftime, I think we're down like 8, and I think they got it to like 12, and then for whatever reason, like our guys just decided let's just go play ball. We're on their home floor. Going into the Freddy Johnson Smithsonian, you're not getting any whistles, and we're okay with that, but we didn't deserve any. We weren't playing very hard, and we just decided, with about halfway through the third, to suck it up and start playing ball. And all of a sudden there's a swing, and I think we go up 4 or 5. And man, like I think we missed a free throw. They go down and score. We missed a little chippy or little bunny, and we're up. I think it's 72-70, and Hayes hits a shot right in front of Freddie. And man, first of all, I love Cam. What a stud. But and I love his dad too. Talk about a great perspective on things. And it's easy from my seat because I don't coach him, but man, I cheer for guys like him, and I cheer for a lot of those kids. And then we come down and we run a little set where we're trying to get Silk up the floor. And I kind of stole it from Villanova when they hit the shot against Carolina to win it.
Yeah.
Jar's trailing, and everybody forgets about the trail guy. Well, they did a good job. They downed Jaden to the sideline, but he's so shifty and tough to keep it in front. I thought he was going to go try to either lay it in or dunk it, but I think they pushed him too far out of bounds, and he jumps out of bounds. And we run a set, Rick, where we throw it along the baseline like a lot of people to that drift corner. And Jar was smart. The corner was covered, so he looped back out to kind of the anchor spot, and Jaden threw him a great ball, no one around him, back iron, front iron out, and that's going to happen. But the next night was, we were just against the other team. We were just as flat could be, and I didn't think we deserved to win no matter what. And I know we were up, I think, 31 out of 32 minutes, but we were terrible. So I think that showed both sides of the coin, that you got to compete every night, and other teams are going to bring it. But going into conference, we'd really kind of seen everything. We'd played in all of your events. We'd played in the Chick-fil-A. We'd been to Atlanta. We'd seen big teams. We'd seen small teams, athletic teams. we'd really kind of seen it. But to be in tight games like that definitely prepares you for a run.
Well, a week later after the Gate City, I think you were playing in the event in Charlotte, and you had the tables reversed for a change. That was the game you were playing Combine Academy, and you were down 2, and Jaden Bradley came in and hit the walk-off 3-point.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird game because we didn't trail. We didn't trail until the last, I guess, 15 seconds of the game. We were up big, and one of their kids, the Robert Dillingham, the bucket, I think the fourth quarter just looked like this. Like he was just throwing stuff left and right. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but I don't know if he missed a shot. And then the big kid Rubio had some good putbacks. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like we kind of did a lot of the same stuff we did against the Piedmont team. We had a big lead and then kind of let them come back. And, you know, you kind of think in your head, like, here you go again. But, you know, and actually Jaden didn't even get a good look. The kid that Elijah was supposed to set this little flat screen in the middle of the floor. Well, he fall down and never really got back up. And I think Ja'Cory Owens tried to blitz it. And I mean, Jaden threw in a hell of a shot. I mean, Ja'Cory fouled him, which was great, but so everybody's going nuts. And I mean, and you know, it was packed, and it was a heck of a basketball game, but they put 0.3 on the clock. And before I could even get it out of my mouth, you know, Silk said, "Coach, I'm going to miss this because the game's over." You know, and I mean, talk about the wherewithal of a competitor who's just so dialed into the moment. Most kids would, you know, still their heart would be pumping, and he's thinking about next play already. So, but yeah, that was a hell of an atmosphere and a hell of a game.
Well, going into the NCISAA championship, you played Greensboro Day in the semifinals. So you're going up against Freddy Johnson, and Freddie's basically the guru, and you know, the elder statesman as far as coaches, one of the greatest coaches in North Carolina history. What was it like going up against your mentor in Freddy Johnson in a semifinal game?
So I'll say this before I get into Freddie. Freddie's one of the greatest coaches in basketball history, like at all levels. First of all, he's a first-class man. Absolutely. And his teams always compete. You know, he has really good players, and he should. He is an exceptional coach and an exceptional man. You know, you're right, he's the grand poobah in North Carolina, but I would, you need the needle moved in this state. You need your first call and last call should be to Freddie to make sure he's on board. But that was a game, you know, it was really kind of strange because we had both played the two toughest schedules in the state. We played the first, they played the second. They beat us by 1. So in your head, you think that's going to be the final. Well, you know, our state has a little bit different criteria, and taking nothing away from Durham Academy, they did beat Greensboro Day. We didn't play them head to head. They were undefeated in their league. They had a heck of a team. You know, by the criteria, they were the number 1 seed. You know, they just were. So we had to play you know, a really good Greensboro Day team at Providence Day in the state semifinals. And, you know, our kids we were locked in all week. I'll be honest. I don't know if anybody would have beat us that night. We were so focused on, and it helped that we had, you know, we felt we gave one away to Greensboro Day. And I think if I counted right, Rick, that was the 5th or 6th time in the last calendar year we had played them, between twice the year before, 2 or 3 times in the June recruiting period, you know, once at their place. And then, you know, we played them at PD, and, you know, our kids were just really focused, and, you know, we knew what we had to do. And I tell you, DJ Nix was off the charts that night. I mean, 4 threes, and we jump out to a big lead. And I think every run that they tried to get back into it, you know, again, we led wire to wire. Every run they tried to get back in, you know, we had a bucket, either a Silk bucket. Christian Reeves was really good that night too. You know, Jarv was a little off. They did a great job. Cam did a really good job guarding him, but I thought DJ was phenomenal.
Well, the next night you have to play Charlotte Latin for the state championship, which is a rival game. They're in your conference, but you have to play the state championship game against Charlotte Latin on their home court.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're up two. They have the last possession of the game. And Randy Johnson comes down, has a chance to win the game. What's going through your mind at that point in time when that shot goes up?
Well, I, I mean, I thought, it's funny we're talking about, guys going left because RJ was, and our scouting report was dead on. The kid likes to pound it left and get into his move. He'll take two dribbles, either get to a step back. He likes to shuffle through ball screens and open his hips, but he's going to be a hard left-hand driver. If he flattens out a little bit, it's a jump shot. If he turns his hips and shoulders, he's going through your body downhill. DJ did a really good job of showing, and he showed short playing the drive, which is fine, but Chris didn't have any timeouts, and Jarvid just stuck a free throw to extend the lead, and that was his 1,000th point too, which was kind of cool. But so I didn't call timeout, and in a perfect situation, you're calling timeout to kind of organize your team. And when he let it go, it was like right in our line of sight, and it was right. So which was great, but I think Elijah missed the box out on the back end, and it went to, I think maybe the Harrell kid, and he throws it up, and I'm like, oh man. And I'll rewind a few years when Jarius Hamilton is a sophomore. We're playing them there to go to the Final Four in a quarterfinal game. We're up the entire way. Jarius fouls out. The kid that's at Davidson now, Bates Jones, the left-handed guard, Caleb Jordan, I think his name was, drives to the basket. We're up. He throws up a shot. He was a left-handed kid. Philip McKenzie, who's at Houston Baptist, misses his only box out of his career. Bates comes in, taps it in at the buzzer. Game over. And that wasn't going through my head at the time, but I mean, what a game. I mean, that just an incredible game. I thought our kids were about as resilient and tough on basically a 12-hour turnaround on a road, playing a road game for a state championship, and you lead wire to wire, but sure as hell didn't feel like it those last 6 seconds.
I'm sure those last 6 seconds was like eternity for you.
It was, and you're so happy for your kids, but there's a certain sense of relief too, like, holy cow, like what else can you see? And then you see those kids, and I think Chris Berger did about as good of a job as anybody in our state last year. I thought his kids were playing tremendous basketball. We beaten them pretty good at our place, and we got up big at their place, and then RJ went nuts in the fourth quarter. I think we won by 4 or by 2. But I mean, I think he had 26, and I think 23 came in the last 10 minutes of the game. And, so they were kind of mirror images of each other. But, yeah, just an incredible game, incredible atmosphere. The sense of accomplishment is definitely there. But, man, I couldn't be more proud of how our kids just dug in and showed a lot of heart and a lot of guts and toughness. And, they'll be champions for the rest of their life.
Well, I'm sure, you talked earlier, you had the 15 years at the collegiate level, and you had those long drive homes where you had the conversations with your wife, like you were maybe not quite sure what was, if you made the right move or not. So when that final buzzer went off, what did it mean to you in the program?
It means everything. I mean, just like you tell your players, like everything's worth it. And, I have a sign outside of my office that says, I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, but I am telling you it's going to be worth it. And I say this all the time: give me a team that raises a trophy or wins anything, and the first thing that goes through their mind is, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Right. That doesn't exist. And I'll be honest with you, Rick, like, we've had so many great kids that have come through the program since we've been here. They're a part of this too. Without them, we're not standing here. This was a brick by brick mentality to lay the foundation. And we want to sustain it. And, the sense of gratification for every player, every parent, every manager, our school, my staff, it's all worth it. And I'm just so thrilled, and I still am. Like I'm still excited, for what the future holds. But in the moment, those 15 kids and those all their families and those my staff and all their families, and you're when you do it the right way, and I'm sure every coach you've interviewed, it's a family deal.
Absolutely.
And for us, it is like my son's hero is Jaden Bradley and Jarius Hamilton and Quan Murphy and Alex Cox and DJ Nix and Jarvis Moss, and those are the kind of kids that I want help shaping my kid's life. And relationships are a two-way street, and I have so much joy and love for those kids. And it was just an incredible feeling.
Well, Coach, the one thing that you wanted to establish when you came to Canada, you wanted to establish and build a national level team. And I think you're in the process of doing that. You have a state championship team, but it's a team built around youth. You had 3 sophomores and basically 2 juniors that did the lion's share of the scoring. So you're going to return, for this next season, you're going to return 3 guys will be juniors and 2 guys will be seniors. And you have Jaden Bradley, is the consensus probably the best point guard in the country. You got DJ Nix, and you have 7-foot Christian Reeves, who I think is a star in the making. I think his upside and potential's through the roof. You also have Jarvis Moss, and the guy that probably doesn't get the credit he probably deserves is Elijah Ormiston. I think, you just have a great nucleus there. And, I've already seen some of the preseason rankings, and some of them have Cannon as a top 20 team national. But this is what you wanted to achieve. That was the footprint that you wanted to lay down.
Yeah, it was, and it is, and we bring everybody back. But we do have a big hole. I mean, Jalen Dibble. I don't know how the little sucker did it, but he always found a way to make a play, and that's what's cool about coaching younger kids and really coaching in general, is the kids that just star in their role, who identify with, this is what I do, and nobody's going to do it better than me. That's Jalen Dibble's a poster child for that. And you think every championship team, they've got it, and some of them are 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" at the pro level. You got guys like Tristan Thompson when Cleveland's making a run and he's doing his thing. And our guy was Jalen Dibble. Like, we celebrated him probably more in the locker room than all the other guys. And granted, he missed half the season with a broken thumb, but when we turned the corner and got into conference play and he got his legs under him, he'd have a stat line of 2, 4, 5, whatever. But like, his fingerprints were all over the game. So we've got some other kids that are going to have to step up and fill that role, because what he does leads to winning and winning big, and then it's contagious because everybody wants to do it, right?
Right.
But the nucleus of our team is back. We are excited. Our schedule will be huge next year. We do appreciate the way preseason publicity. But that's a testament to our players. If you don't have good players and you're not playing in big time stuff, then you're not getting recognized like that. And I think we do have really good players.
Well, looking at your preseason events for the upcoming season, you're going to play in the Carmel Tip-Off Classic, which is always going to be extremely tough. You're going to be in the Phenom Gate City Classic, the Battle of the Rock down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You're in the Chick-fil-A. You're also going to be in the Beach Ball Classic. So you're playing a national schedule. This is only going to help prepare you for that national level competition down the road.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think, we'll mix in like some, Bojangles bash, and I can't remember who we play and all these things, but there's some other things that I think we're going to play in too. But yeah, it definitely prepares you, and that's the cool part of it is playing in them. But, you got to compete, you got to win, and knowing it and having that expectation now of going after it. That's the next hurdle that we've got to get to, is going from the guys that are hunting and trying to get to the top of the mountain to staying there. And staying there is that's tough.
Absolutely.
and to sustain that day in, day out, that's challenging, and realize like you're going to get everybody's best shot. And we kind of went through it a little bit last year once we got into the league. I think we were picked to win the league. And I knew Charlotte Latin was going to be really good. I knew Christian graduated, the majority of their team, but they had the Lash kid was really good. The Jones kid was really good. And then they had 2 young kids I thought that were really solid. And I knew Covenant Day had the Holloway kid could really play, and they had a kid on the wing that could really go get it. So I think that kind of helped get us over the hump, and we'll use that. But at the same time, going into events where you're expected to play other national level teams and you're expected to win, that's where our mind frame's got to change. But it definitely will continue to prepare us, and it certainly paid off this year.
Well, I'm sure one of the ultimate goals is to achieve the opportunity to play in Geicos and playing for a national championship. That's the ultimate goal.
Correct. Yeah, that's the goal, and a lot of things got to go your way. You got to play in those events, and you got to beat teams, and it doesn't hurt us that Silk is the top point guard in the country, and BJ and Jarv are high major players, and Christian 7-foot high major that is just starting to scratch the surface. That definitely doesn't hurt. But at the same time, like you got to win when you're supposed to win. And a lot of time, and there's a lot of politics that go into this too. And we're just going to stay in our lane and do our part, and not really give our keys to somebody else to decide. We got to live up to what we're supposed to live up to, and that's going to be challenging, but man, that's the beauty of this is let's go after it.
Well, as tough as it was for you to get to the very top, they always say it's tougher to stay there. So you're going to have a lot of challenges this year just within the state of North Carolina. The competition
we
is going to
should
be fierce, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, we should. I mean, that's the way you want it, right? Like if you're a high level guy, you want to play other high level guys.
You'll be
if you're a high level,
time.
That's it. I mean, if you're a high level program, then you want to play high level program, and that's what that's why I love what Freddie's been able to sustain for damn near 50 years is he plays in great events. He doesn't get outside of the where he's building his program to, and if you're a high level guy, you want to play in big time things because you want to see where you are. We're the same way. We want to be as great as everybody else, and you don't dodge people. You got to play, and I say let's go.
Well, as you often say on social media, Coach, you got to earn it.
You do have to earn it. That's right.
Well, listen, Coach, I want to say thank you for coming on Coach's Corner today. We've enjoyed it, and congratulations again on winning the state championship. I was there. It was a magical moment for you, and I was glad I was able to share it and watch you play, your team play and win, and I'm sure you're going to have many more down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got some wood to cut in order to take the next step, but I like the group we're bringing back, and that was like I said earlier, that was an unbelievable feeling. And anytime after a win like that, you want to come give me a hug, man, I'll take it.
You got it, Coach.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Thank you.